Alright, so now as you know, I have moved from conservative news and now I write for the Daily Wire. And every once in a while they let me write about comic books and stuff. Very, very rarely. But I have a new article up. So head over to thedailywire.com and check it out. It's called Batman is About to Be Infected with the Social Justice Virus. And the subheading is The Joker is the Hero. So I don't know if you've heard, but a comic book writer named Sean Gordon Murphy, he's written a couple of different graphic novels and comic books. He wrote Batman Scarecrow Year One, which was a really interesting retelling of Jonathan Crane's origin. It was very fascinating. It was uh, post-Crisis, but pre-New 52, so I guess that would put it in the final Crisis era. So in it, The Long Halloween and Year One is still canon, but they add just this new take on the Scarecrow that was very fascinating. I have to give him credit. It was very well written, very well art. But now he's writing this new bit called Batman White Knight, and as you know, everyone knows the Joker is Batman's primary antagonist. Sometimes it goes back and forth, but primarily it's Joker. And what he's doing is he's creating this world where the Joker gets cured of his insanity, of his mental illness, which is a little bit of an insult to people who are mentally ill, but that's neither here nor there. And he becomes Jack Napier. Now that's kind of a throwback to the Tim Burton Batman, starring Michael Keaton and of course Jack Nicholson as the Joker. Um, Jack Napier has only been used a couple of other times. The name was used in Batman the Animated Series as one of the Joker's aliases. It's mentioned not really that much beyond those things. But anyway, so in this, the Joker becomes a politician and he starts a crusade, a social justice warrior special snowflake crusade against Batman, who he sees as a fascist oppressor. And he's turning Gotham from a comic book trope city into a real life city where vigilantism is not okay and all this. And, I get it. Vigilantism is never a good idea. Vigilantism is anarchy. I'm against it. But come on. It's a comic book world. Take a step back, fellow. But it's also concerning that he would make the Joker the hero, but this is what he's saying. This is what he's speaking to The Wire, which The Wire, they're such a fake geek slash nerd magazine. They just slobbered over Murphy. They just were like, oh, you're so wonderful, you're so wonderful, oh my gosh, blah, 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 blah. It was disgusting. But anyway, Murphy tells them, my main goal was to undo the comic tropes while changing Gotham from a comic book city into a real city. A city dealing with everything from Black Lives Matter, a racist organization. He didn't say that, I'm saying that. Continuing what he says, to the growing wage gap. He continues, rather than write a comic book about the wage gap, which doesn't exist by the way, I gave those ideas to the Joker, who leads a kind of media war against Gotham's elite by winning people over with his potent observations and rhetoric. It just makes sense to me that someone of the left would see the Joker as a hero. I mean, we see the left constantly propping up these war criminals. They prop up Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Margaret Sanger, all these psychopathic mass murderers. They don't have a problem celebrating them. And of course, he's leading a media war because we all know that the media, they're objective truth tellers. It's kind of funny because my boss, Ben Shapiro, he actually got CNN's Don Lemon to admit that he wasn't going to hide behind fake objectivity, whatever the heck that means. That was a really interesting interview. You should check that out on the Daily Wire. But anyway, I just think that it's bizarre that he's going to use. Why not use Batman as the agent of change? But anyway, but again, I don't see it's happening. Fortunately, this is not a real canon story. This is just going to be an Elseworlds. So fortunately, it's not going to be in canon. And I'm glad DC made that decision because personally, I think this story is going to alienate fans. And that's not to say DC hasn't experimented with social messaging. They've done it before when Superman renounced his when he renounced his U.S. citizenship, which they quickly retconned, and they did an issue when in the New 52 where or after the Ferguson riots, they tried to make it where the Ferguson rioters were good and the cops were evil, and Dean Cain even sent out a tweet about how he was mad that Superman wasn't backing up the policeman. It was all just a thing. But anyway, I honestly think I don't, or I should say, I honestly don't understand why they're copying Marvel Comics' model of trying to pander to these SJWs. They don't buy comic books. SJWs just complain about things, but they don't actually have any money to spend. And those of us who are real fans, who just want the media to tell the truth, who want our values represented in the comic books, I think that they're going to just alienate them. But like I said, fortunately, unlike Marvel, they're not putting it in canon, so hopefully it'll stick to this imaginary context.